someone should just take us through what we did last week, something small. Paula, your hand is up.
Madam, please.
Paula, let's hear from you.
Okay, Madam, please, last week we learned about the life cycle of pests and parasites, and we learned about what pests are, some examples, as well as the parasites and their examples. Then we learned about mosquitoes, the types of mosquitoes we have, and its life cycle, as well as some measures or ways to control the life cycle of mosquitoes. We learned about environmental methods that include draining swamps, proper disposal of rubbish. We learned about chemical methods, biological methods, and genetic methods.
Continue.
The life cycle, madam. The life cycle of church fly, as well as the malaria parasite, which is Plasmodium. We also covered tapeworm, and we learned about its relationship with its host and some measures to control it, which includes proper meat examination.
Okay.
That's what we did last week.
All right, someone else. So Paula, can you take us through just the tapeworm, something little, or let's say yes, tapeworm, something little on the life cycle of tapeworm, something small. If not Paula, any other person, I just want to know how far you were able to get the concept of what we did last week. That's all. If not, Paula, mention anybody's name you know is part of the class to help you before you mute yourself. Mention anybody's name to my hearing.
William Shepherd.
Okay, so William. Sandy.
Yeah, madam.
Please, if you are there, can you do the recording for me? I don't know. I'm trying to.
That's fine. I'll do it. Let's continue.
Okay. So William Shepherd, your name have been mentioned. Just something little, tapeworm, so that we can go to today's business. Is William there?
Madam, please, I can't hear anything you are saying. No.
You can't hear me. William. William. Check your audio, okay? Probably.
Madam, should I continue?
Do you want to? All right, if you want to continue, let's be fast about it.
We learned about the life cycle of tapeworm, and we said it involves two hosts, a human being, which is the primary host, and another animal such as the cow or the pig, which is the secondary host. Okay. So the adult tapeworm is found in the intestines of like the human beings, but then when it is in the intestines of the cow or the pig, which is the secondary host, it is inactive, or otherwise called the bladder worm. So when the human beings take in the worms through the cow or any other secondary host,
when the secondary host, when the pig or the pork is not properly cooked, the bladder worm, yes, gets into the intestine of the human, and in the intestine of the human, it becomes active, right?
Yes.
And then further production or further reproduction takes place in the human intestine. Thank you, Paula. That's good. On that note, I want us to look at another beautiful topic today. I told you last week that we brought life cycle of pest and parasite to a successful end. So as an agric student, you should be able to define pests. You should be able to know the difference between pests and parasites. Give some examples of parasites. Give some examples of pests. Know some of their life cycles or what a pathogen is. And you should also know what a vector is if you really went through the course successfully. Now, today I want us to look at another beautiful one called crop production. Okay, crop production. Today we'll be looking at the principles of crop production. So at the end of this topic or this course, you should be able to know some of the underlying principles that guides you Pearl, Akiti, your hand is up. Pearl. Pearl. Okay, so at the end of this, you should be able to know some principles that will guide you when you want to produce crops. And also, you should be able to cultivate at least a crop. Watch the crop until it gets harvested, okay? So when school resumes, which we don't know when school resumes, I would like us to undergo a project. Let's try and take a very common crop such as maize. We'll look at the season at that time. I don't know when school is going to resume, but let's hope we resume as early as possible. Then we'll take one common crop as maize or corn, and then practically we'll cultivate it. You and I will nurse it until it grows. We'll harvest it, and then we'll know what to do with the harvested crop. So at the end of this thing, you should be able to cultivate what or harvest a crop. Okay. Now, when we talk of crops are normally crops are plants, okay, of the same kind, which
Madam.
are hello.
Madam, please, I can hear now.
You can hear me now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So it's okay. Someone just what I wanted you to do, someone did it. So let's just pay attention. Okay.
Okay,
So
thank you.
You are welcome. When we talk of crops, I said that a crop plant or a plant which is of the same kind and cultivated on the same piece of land, okay, can be termed as a crop. Any plants which are of the same kind. So when you have maize plant on a piece of land, it is termed as what? A crop plant. Are you okay? It is termed as crop. And you and I know that crops are probably cultivated for human and animal use. The reason why you are cultivating plants is for you and I to use. Either we are using it for medicine, we are using it for cloth, we are using it for we are using it as raw material. Whatever use you want to use your crop for, you and animals are the reason why crops are what? Cultivated. Now, we said food crops are crops cultivated mainly to feed people. So crops that are being cultivated in order to give us source of food is normally called what? Feed crop or food crop. Now, crops can be classified based on probably their uses, their life cycle, their season. So these are some of the categories you look at to classify your crop, okay? So in terms of their uses, crops can be grouped as cereals. You know what cereals are? Example, maize, rice, okay? We can also classify or group crops as legumes. Examples being beans, cowpea, groundnut, soya beans, and then etc. We also have stem tubers, root tubers, edible fruits, and nuts. Okay, so based on what the plant is going to be used for, these are the categories that we can put the crops into. Okay, so if the crop is serving as a leguminous crop, you call them what? Legumes. If the crops are cultivated to serve as let's say vegetables, so pepper is a vegetable, onion, okra, they are all vegetables. Okay, so we have another group of crops known as what? Vegetables. We have another group of crops known as ornamental crops, crops that are grown to beautify our environment are called ornamental crops. Crops that are grown to be able to get clothing from it are said to be fiber crops. Okay, example can be the cotton. You know, we use cotton to make cloths. We have rubber. Now, crops that are cultivated so that we can get beverages from, we call them beverage crops. An example, coffee. cocoa, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the names given to crops based on their uses. So when you're asked that classify crops or state 3 classes of crops based on their uses, you can make mention of cereals, legumes, beverages, fiber, vegetables, ornamental crops, and so on and so forth. Also, I said that crops can also be classified based on their life cycle. You know what life cycle is. So in terms of their life cycles, crops can be classified in 3 groups. We have annuals, we have biennials, and we have perennials. So when you're asked to classify crops based on their growing length or their life cycle, you can talk of these 3. Now we talk of annual crops or annuals. Annual crops are crops that when grown, they reproduce, and in fact their life cycle takes just 1 year. Within a period of 1 year, their life cycle comes to an end. So they grow, they reproduce, and die within 1 year or a season, okay? And they're also known to be called arable crops. And examples include maize, millet, tomatoes, rice, etc. Okay. Now, let me say something. In the course of the presentation, if you have any question, any suggestion, something I didn't understand, just put up your hands, and then don't wait for me to end the whole slide, the whole topic. No, let's take it one after the other. So if you don't understand something, just put up your hands, and then we can take it from there. So the second category of crops based on their life cycle are biennial crops or biennials. And these are crops that have 2-year lifespan. That have 2-year lifespan, okay? Meaning that they can grow, reproduce, and die within what? A period of 2 years. An example is carrots, cabbage, and what have you. And the last group of classification based on their life cycle, we have the perennials, or you can say permanent crops. Their life cycle is more than 2 years, okay? Don't write 2 or more. Immediately you bring 2 or more, is wrong. 2 is for biennials. So you don't say 2 or more, but rather more than 2 years, okay? So perennial crops or permanent crops are crops that live for more than 2 years, okay? In that case, or they can live as long as forever, okay? That's why we are calling them perennials or permanent. So for them, they can live like as long as you can think of. Example, oil palm, cocoa, coffee, and so on and so on. Okay. Now, let's talk about some uses of crop plants. They are just warming up, okay? Some uses of crop plants. We all know what we can use crops for. Crops can serve as a source of food for human consumption, okay? Crops can serve as a source of food for human consumption. Now, I said that crops that are cultivated for food are named as what? Food crop, okay? Crops that are cultivated for food are named as what? Food crop. Crops can also be used to feed animals, you know, grasses, our goats and others. They feed on grasses. Others even feed on the cassava you and I use to prepare our food for and things. Other animals such as the goats and the rest can equally feed on what? The cassava. So food crops, which is for human consumption, can equally be consumed by animals as well. Like the cassava, the plantain, the rice, blah, blah, blah. All those things can be consumed by what? Animals. Clothing. Crops can also be used for our clothing, okay? I told you earlier that the cotton that we get, so fiber crops are basically used for what? Clothing. because we get cotton from those fiber crops, which are being transformed into our clothing. Crops can also be used for drugs. You know, sometimes, not even sometimes, the stems, the leaves, the roots, and even fruits of that particular plant can be used to produce these our herbal drugs that you and I consume to treat what? Diseases. So we get drugs from what? Our crops. So crop can serve as a use for what? Drugs. Another point is shelter. Shelter. When you realize that we get our woods, or let me say our logs, from what? The stem, and then the stem of the what? Of the plant. Even when you take the leaves of coconut or oil palm, you realize that they can be used as roofing materials. They use that, they'll use it as a thatch for roofing materials. In our most of these buildings, you can see them in those rural areas, even in these our urban areas, in the cities, you can see a building that have a roofing of, you know, some leaves of other plants. We can also use them as ornamentals. You know what ornamental plants are? I told you that ornamental plants are basically there to beautify our environment or to decorate the environment. We can also get raw materials from crop plants. Raw materials in the sense that, like cocoa. Cocoa is a raw material that is being processed to get our what? Chocolates, and then the Milo and whatever. Okay, even biscuits, you can see that there are some, they'll say choco cookies. All these things are produced out of crops, whereby they got the raw materials and took it to an agro industry for them to refine those raw materials into a finished product for our consumption. So basically, you can even add more. Okay, don't limit yourself to only this. Look out there for more uses of crop plants. Now, let's look at principles of crop production. When I say principles, someone should tell you understand my principles. When I say that, before I come to class, I have my principles that everybody must follow. As an individual, you also have your principles, okay, that guides you. In the same way, when you want to produce crop, there should be some guiding rules that as a farmer or as a producer, you must follow in order to achieve a better yield, okay? So everything you do in life, there is a principle you follow. When you want to propagate maize, you have to follow certain principles. Cocoa, principles. So when I talk of principles of crop production, they are guiding rules, or they are rules that the farmer or that the individual must follow in order to ensure the efficient control of factors necessary for what? Proper growth of the crop. Okay, so when you want to achieve a better yield, when you want to achieve something good in life, you are not moved by anything. You're supposed to follow some laid down rules. Okay, I have to do this, I have to go here, I have to take this, I have to do that, so that you and I know that when you follow all these guidelines, you achieve something better. In the same way, when you want to propagate your crops, you must follow certain guidelines, certain rules that will enable you to go through your production successfully. Okay, now these rules should be so flexible that it should be able to control certain factors that are necessary for what? Growth. Factors such as temperature, such as sunlight, such as moisture, the air content. When we're looking at soil, we said soil, what? is the upper layer of the earth crust in which plant grows. The normal definition. And we now know that soil is formed out of what? A weathered rock. Cast your mind back to what we did in class. Okay. Now, even the soil that you're going to use to propagate your plants, okay, you should be able to control one, the acidic content. It shouldn't be so much acidic. It shouldn't be too basic, okay? The pH should just be on point. The nutrient content of the soil should be on point. Are you okay? If the soil is infertile, there is no way you are going to produce any successful crop. So the soil must be fertile. The moisture content in the soil moisture, when you're looking at components of the soil, made mention of soil moisture, soil water, okay? All these things are necessary. So you must try as much as possible to control all these factors that will cause you to get a better yield when you harvest your crop. Temperature, we say temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness, okay? So when the temperature is too cold or when the temperature is too high, you should be able to know what to do to your crop so that the high content or the high concentration of the temperature will not what affect your crop so much. So now in crop production, the following are very essential. Now, when you want to produce crop, okay, these factors are listed here should be considered so much, okay? The climate of the environment, the climatic and social soil factors, okay? Let's link this one to the previous point. Soil factors, we know the components of soil. We've done that, I think, in second year also, second year first term also. So you should know the factors of the soil. So soil components, one way or the other, may affect your crop positively or negatively. Two, another essential factor you should look out for before you even start your production is the site selection. Make sure that whatever land or whichever land you have chosen to propagate your crop on should be very, very, very suitable. You don't just use any land at any point that you're using to propagate your crops. It may affect your crop positively or negatively, in the sense that if it affects it negatively, it means that your crop yield will be low. But it positively means that you get what? Enough crop yields. Now, before you also cultivate your crop, you should look out for preparing the land. You don't just get up and say, I'm going to grow maize. So you just walk around any land you see, okay, I'm come to grow them. Then you start digging your hole and then putting your maize seed in there. No, it doesn't work like that. Before you choose a land, or after you've selected the land, okay, this land is good. I think when I grow something here, I'll get a better yield. You must prepare the land. Probably the land is too bushy. You can't go and grow the maize in a bushy environment. The place is bushy. Otherwise, there's something we call weeds. The weeds will start competing with the crop. I told you that anything unwanted is a weed. So when there's somebody in your life and that person is not having any positive impact in your life, you don't need the person. That person becomes a weed in your life if you are relating you to crop. Okay, when you have a tomato farm and then you start seeing pepper growing there, that pepper becomes a weed. Though pepper is a crop, pepper is also a vegetable, but pepper and tomatoes are different varieties. So the farm there is for tomato, not pepper. So at that point in time, your pepper becomes a weed. Okay, so before you cultivate your product or your crop, you should prepare the land. Clear every unwanted weed, all the bushes around, clear everything. Then you can now start with your work. Another factor that is so essential that you must consider is your selection of seed or planting material. You don't just get up and any maize seed you see, you want to use it to prepare, or any maize you see or corn you see, you go and put it in the hole. You must choose a viable seed. Viable means that it should be in good condition. Okay, the seed should be free of any disease, because if the seed you propagated is diseased seed, automatically it will affect your what your it will not even grow so much because the seed is already diseased. So as it is growing, the seed or the crop will be affected by that disease. Do you understand? So before you choose before you even start propagating anything, look at the seed you are using. The seed should be viable. Your planting materials. What and what am I going to use to plant? I need a hoe. I need cutlass. I need a rake. All those things should be made available, okay, before you can go in there to grow your crop. Another essential factor you should look out for is the time of planting. Now, in our previous slide, I don't know whether I made mention of, you realize I said crop plants may be classified into groups based on their uses. There's another point there called season, okay? Now, when you want to plant, look at the seasons. The season in which you are should tell you or should let you know what kind of plant you should go in for. The season in which you are should let you know what kind of plant you're going for. If you're in a dry season and going for something like rice, how do you expect the rice to grow? Because you know rice normally grow in muddy areas, okay, where there are waterlogged areas, okay. So, and then your time of planting, if you want to go and grow your maize or your whatever, you don't just get up one afternoon and say I'm going to grow maize. How? The timing is not the best, okay. One hot afternoon, you just go out there and say you are going to grow maize. The timing is not the best. So all these things should be put into consideration before you even put your seed in what? In the soil. The timing. Okay, now also consider cultural practices. What do I mean by cultural practices? Who can help us define cultural practices? Queen, what kind of cultural practice do you know or can you think of? Kudoda, is it kudoda, Queen?
Mixed
Yes.
cropping.
Sorry?
Mixed cropping.
Mixed cropping. Okay. Any other? Ruth. Yeah, Ruth, your hand is up.
Madam, mulching.
When you finish, everybody will define the term you are mentioning to me. So someone says mulching, another person says mixed cropping. After I'm done getting the point, you all explain what you mean by all those things for me to know. Ruth, your hand is up. Jessica, your hand is also up. Okay, let me hear from Jessica. Is Jessica there? Maunyo Jessica. Oh, Jessica, your hand is up. Oh, Chantal, your hand is also up. Okay, since I can't hear from Jessica, Chantal, if you can hear me, speak to us.
Madam, weed control.
Weed control. All right. Let me take the last two. After that, you explain to me what you mean by those points. Jessica. Benoni, you are here. Talk to me. Ruth, you are also there. Your hand is up. Ruth. Ruth, can you hear me? No. Maunya Jessica, your hand is up. Yet when I call you, you are not responding. Ruth, if you don't have anything to tell me, then put your hand down. Okay, Senyo Setrofia. Oh, I saw your hand up. Who is TechnoSpark? I thought you were told to change your names. Who is TechnoSpark for? Are you people there?
Yes.
Who responded? Is it TechnoSpark 4? So, Chantal, tell us what do you mean by weed control as a cultural practice?
Madam, it seems
Oh. Chantal, sorry, unmute yourself and talk to me.
I said
Mm-hmm.
it simply means controlling of weeds. And this can be done in two ways,
Okay.
chemically or mechanically.
All right.
With a chemical, we can use herbicides such as Frimigram to, take out the weeds from the farm.
Are you going to spray?
And then,
Is it going to be
yeah,
done by spraying?
yes, madam, spraying the soil
Okay.
soon after planting or before the maize emerges from the soil.
Okay. All right. And then the mechanical way?
The mechanical way, we use cutlass or hose to remove the weed once or twice before harvesting.
Okay, good. All right, good. That's a very interesting point. Who also mentioned is it like maize cropping? Who mentioned maize cropping? I think is it Jessica or Queen?
It's me,
It's you who?
Queen.
Okay.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake that you mentioned maize cropping.
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay, then correct your mistake. People should also talk to me. Let me not be the only one talking. You know I don't like talking. Correct your mistake, Queen. If you think the maize cropping is a mistake, correct it. Any cultural practice? Oh, no idea.
Yes.
Yes. Did Ruth say something to me earlier? Someone also said someone gave me another point. Mulching, good. Who said mulching?
Madam,
Is
it's
it
Ruth.
Ruth? It's Ruth, good. So I don't know what mulching is. All right, so what is mulching?
Madam, mulching is the use of materials to cover the surface of a vegetable bed or a piece of land to keep the moisture in the soil.
Again, please. Mulching.
Madam, is the use of materials.
Materials
Yes,
such
it's the
as
use
what?
of materials to cover dry grasses, compost.
If you say materials, as if I go
etc.
and carry anything, good. So you have to specify the materials. So at least give me certain materials so that when I want to practice mulching, I know exactly what I'm going in for. Is it clear? Good. I believe you all heard the definition
Yes,
of
madam.
mulching. Any other last cultural practice? Michael Afenyo.
Madam, make a crop rotation.
Crop rotation. What is that?
Madam, planting, using a piece of land, no. Madam, like for example,
Okay.
plant one kind of crop on a piece of land, and then when you harvest it, you plant another one, so that once you plant will fix a nutrient into the soil for the next one.
So in other words, the other crop that you are, it is a way of maintaining the fertility of a soil, right? If I'm right, crop rotation. Is that not?
Yes.
All right. So automatically, when your soil is fertile, you and I will bear witness that it to be able to support what proper growth. Don't go bright. I think you also have something to tell us. Your hand is up.
Yes, madam. Irrigation.
Hey, I didn't hear you.
Madam, irrigation.
Irrigation.
Yes.
What is that one?
Madam, is the artificial means of sending water to the farm for plant use.
Okay, so realize that all these practices, one way or the other, help in what proper growth of plants. As all of you said, somebody said crop rotation. When I rotate the crop, if today I grow, let's say cassava, and the next season I propagate legumes, or let's say cowpea. You know, cowpea is a leguminous crop, and we all know that leguminous crop basically fix nitrogen into the soil. So during the second cycle of my production, I cultivate legumes. I know the legumes are going to fix nitrogen into the soil, which will indirectly or directly support what proper plant growth. Good. So all these practices we made mention of are there to help us in achieving a better crop yield. Another important thing you should consider in your production is how to store your harvested products. When we're looking at pests and parasites, or we're looking at pests of crops, we made mention of weevils, maize weevil, rice weevil, and all those things. Weevils can infect your crops when they are not properly stored. Okay, so anytime you go to the farm to harvest your crops, make sure you store them properly to prevent any form of what pest infestation. Are you okay? When you're also looking, when you also want to propagate your crops, look out for the market. What is the demand at that time? I live in an area where people normally like consuming maize, and I go there to propagate sugar cane. Who is going to buy that sugar cane? When you know that this community likes, the community in which you live, they like buying or they like consuming maize, or let me say corn, and you go propagating sugar cane, for who to purchase? Are you okay? So before you start anything called growing of crops, think about the market. Think about the market. The people, what the people need, the needs of the people. Consider that one also. Then you can choose the right thing to what? Grow or cultivate. Okay. Now, another thing you should also consider, when you are trying to select your land, okay, also look at the proximity of getting the product from the farm to the market. That one is also very, 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 very important. Let me pause. I think I have one slide more to go. I need questions. Today people are not asking questions. I don't know why. Ask questions. Ask questions. If there's something you want me to go back, or there's something you didn't get clearly, just refer me to that slide and let's talk about it. Ask questions. You this class don't like questions. The phone wants like questions. Asking questions a lot. Ask questions. Okay. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to take about 2 or 3 questions before we can continue. Please ask questions relating to what we are doing. Nobody? Does that mean we all understand what is going on?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam.
All of you understand what is going on?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Maunya Jessica, do you
Yes.
understand what is going on? Jessica, do you understand what is going on?
Yes.
Yes. So what have we said so far?
We talked about cultural practice.
And what did we say?
Using of crop.
Hmm? Jessica, are you there? Some of you, your networks are terrible. Kaka Beauty, are you okay with what we are doing?
Yes, madam.
You're okay with everything?
Yes.
All right, so say something to us. If you are okay, tell us something on what I've said so far.
Okay. We are on the principles of crop production. And you said that the principles has to do with the guiding rules which should be followed to enable a proper crop production. And we also look at the factors to consider when cultivating crops or under crop production, and it includes the temperature, the moisture, the air, and the quality of soil nutrients, and the correct pH. And we also talk about the following.
No, come again. You said, hold on. You said moisture, temperature, they are what?
They are what we should look for.
I didn't get. They are what we should look for.
Like when you are going to cultivate a crop, you must consider these factors.
What are those factors? The
temperature. Madam, are you getting it?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm not getting you. I want to get you.
I said the temperature, the moisture, the air, and the correct pH in the soil, and the quality of the soil nutrients too.
They are the factors that need to be controlled, right?
Yes, madam.
Okay, so let me emphasize on this point again. I said that temperature, sunlight, moisture. Okay, we said principles of crop production. There are rules that needs to be followed to ensure the efficient control of factors. Are you okay? The efficient control of factors, and the factors that we need to control efficiently are temperature, sunlight, moisture, air, the soil quality, and then the pH. Okay, these are the factors that you and I need to control efficiently in order to achieve a better yield. Are you okay? And I also said that before you go into any production, you should consider certain things. Okay, those things you need to consider are the soil factors. What are those soil factors? Soil water, soil air, the sunlight, quality of the soil. Do you understand it? We should also consider the site selection. That is, I think that aspect, I don't know that you really got it well. So the sunlight, the temperature, the moisture are the factors that may affect your crop if not controlled effectively or efficiently. Am I making sense?
Yes, madam.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you. So go back to the mute mode. All right. So that's what we said. We also said that before you start any production, take note of some essential things. And those essential things include your cultural practices. They also include how to store your grains or your harvested products. We also include choosing the right planting materials or choosing a viable seed. They also include looking at or considering the climatic condition at that particular time, okay? And also preparing your land before you even start any form of what? Cultivation. Before you start any form of cultivation. Now, let's continue. I think this is the very last and okay. Now, when you want to go into production, okay, the production cycle of crops consists of the following activities. If I say a cycle, you understand a cycle. So I am a farmer. I want to go into maize production, okay? Right from the point that I thought of producing maize, that is where my cycle is starting. My production cycle is starting. I am there. I thought of maize, okay? Right from there. So production even should start from your mind. Okay, I want to propagate maize. What do I do? So from the point of start till when your crops are being harvested is what I'm terming as the production cycle. Okay, from the point of start, what to do before you put the seed in the soil through to your harvesting stage is the production cycle. So I'm saying that the production cycle of crops consists of the following activities. All the activities you are supposed to do has been categorized into 4 broad headlines, okay, that you must do in order to achieve a successful yield. The first activity that you can think of is pre-planting activity. If I say before. So before you even think of putting your seed into the soil, there are certain things you must do first. You don't just get up, go to any land and then put your seed in the soil, as I said earlier. Before you start any production, put things in place. It's like, tomorrow you have biology class, or tomorrow you'll be going to school. What do? The evening before, the preparation you will do is what I term as planting. What do you do before going to class tomorrow? Okay, I'll be going to class. This is my time. I have biology, I have business, I have this, I have cost accounting, I have this, I have that. How do I prepare towards? Okay, let me read around these topics. I am preparing myself towards the class tomorrow. Is that not it? Okay, let me put pen in my bag because when I go to class, I'll write. Let me put exercise book in my bag because I might be given an exercise. So all these things are activities you are putting in place in order to achieve a successful academic work within that day. Are you okay? So pre-planting activities are the activities you consider before planting. And the second activity is planting activity. Planting activity. Okay, this is the preparation I have done. Now I am on the field. What do I do? Now I have come to the field, or now I have come to my farmland. Okay, I should do this, I should do that, I should do that. Whilst planting my crops. Okay, so the first activity you should think of is pre-planting activity. The thoughts, the ideas, the things you do before you start your planting. The second point, planting activities, the things you do on the farmland whilst your crops are ready. 3, post-planting activity. Post, afterwards, after the planting is post. Post-planting, it means that after planting. So your first point, pre-planting. Second point, planting activities. Now I am done planting. What do I do after planting? These are another activities you should look out for during your production cycle. Now it doesn't only end at post activity. when you want to harvest, so we have harvesting and post-harvest activities. I told you that if you harvest your crops and you don't store them properly, there could be what? Pest infestation. Are you okay? So in your production cycle, okay, these are 4 main things you should look out for, or you should think of, or you should do, okay, in order to achieve a successful yield. Yes, Elom. Ruth, your hand is up.
Madam, please,
Yes.
if pre-planting means before planting and post-planting means after planting, that is harvesting, then what about
Ruth. Ruth, mute yourself, okay? Unmute yourself, sorry.
Madam, please, I said if a pre-planting means before planting and post-planting means after planting, then what about transplanting?
What about?
Transplanting.
So what do you understand by trans?
Madam, I don't know.
Who can help us? Who is there to help us? Are you there? I'm waiting for helping hand. When I say transplant, what do you understand by transplant? Transplant could either be moving from one, like, let's say I have planted something. Let's say, let's say I want to go into tomatoes. Okay, somebody want to help me. Theophilus, I saw your hand up. I'm not seeing properly. Is Theophilus there? Okay, if I've lost Theophilus, then let me talk. When I say transplanting means that, let's say you propagated something on land A or portion A. When you move whatever you cultivated from portion A to portion B, it is transplant. Ruth, if you can hear me, when I say transplanting, I have propagated something, or I've cultivated something on portion A or land A. When I move whatever I have cultivated from land A or portion A to portion B or land B, that is transplanting. But when I say pre-planting, pre means things that, when I say pre-planting activities, things that I do before I start putting something in the soil is pre-planting. Things that I do, pre-planting activities I perform, or actions I perform, or things I put in place before I even put my seed in the soil is pre-planting. Post-planting, now planting activity means that, okay, I thought of, let's say for instance, pre-planting before I go in for, okay, so as I was saying, when I talk of pre-planting activities, this one means that some activities or some actions are put in place before I put my seed in the soil. When I say planting activity, what do I do whilst I am planting my maize? The things I do whilst planting my maize, or in the course of the planting, whilst I have already put the maize in the soil, like the cultural practices you made mention of, they are all planting activities. The mulching, it's a planting activity because you still want to make sure that like your soil becomes good enough. Or let's say clearing of weeds, you go to the farm, you realize, okay, there's a weed growing over here, you use your hand or cutlass or hoe to take off all those weeds. They are planting activities. They are things that you are doing, okay, in order to ensure that there's no competition. Okay, but when I say Transplanting, moving one thing from one side to another side is transplant. I don't know if I'm making some sense for you. Ruth, is
Yes,
Ruth
madam.
there? Did you hear what I said?
Madam, yes.
Good, very good. So that is what the
Yes,
transplanting.
yes.
Okay, thank you. If you are okay. Now, let's look at some pre-planting activities. Okay, I said this refers to all activities that are carried out in respect to planting materials and on the land before the crop is planted. So the things you do in respect to the land before you start cultivating the land. I told you can't just go to any land and start putting your seed in the soil. You must clear the land first. In fact, it starts from choosing your seed. What particular seed to choose is a pre-planting activity. Make sure that the seed you are choosing is viable. When I say viable, it means that it is suitable, it is free of any diseases. Are you okay? All these things are pre-planting activity. Okay, we have a lot of let's use maize as a case study. I want to propagate maize. Okay, maize scientifically is called their maize, right? Now, the Zea being the genus name, and then the maize being the species. Okay. Now, there are a lot of maize. There are a lot of varieties of maize in Ghana here. Okay, we have a lot of varieties of maize in Ghana. So before you go in to propagate your maize, what type of maize plant should I take so that I can get a better yield for production? Do you understand? Make sure that your maize can resist diseases or pest and parasite infestation. Make sure that the maize or the species of maize you are choosing should be able to tolerate drought. Okay, all these things are activities you are putting in place so that in future you don't experience any pest and parasite infestation. Okay, so for instance, somebody gave you 2 types of maize variety. Maybe in Ghana here we can have Obatampa maize, okay, or we can have Dobidi maize. These are all species of maize, right? Now look at your area, look at the climate. Which of the maize are going to be are suitable for propagation? Are you okay? So you choose that maize and make sure that this maize is disease free. It is not infected, it doesn't have any disease. Okay, it can tolerate drought. Okay, all right, let me see. The life cycle of this crop takes about 1 year. Will I be able to cultivate this particular plant? Okay, no, this one takes 2 years. Will I be able? So all these things are activities you are putting in place, in order to achieve a successful production. Also think about the land. You don't just get up and go and choose any land anywhere and start propagating maize. For instance, you want to propagate maize and go and look for sandy soil. Okay, or you go and look for a land which is full of sand and you say you're using it to propagate maize. It will not work. So your site selection is another activity you should consider before you even think of planting. All these things are pre-planting activity. How do I select my land? What type of land do I need? The topography of the land, the availability of the land to a water source. They are all things you must consider. The availability of the land to the market. Would I have to cultivate? Would I have to get a land around Petoi whilst my market is around let's say Nigeria or Hohoi? You realize that moving your crop from Petoi to Hohoi is quite a journey. Okay, so why don't I get a land which is a bit closer to my market? Now, economically, I can have somewhat enough money, since I wouldn't have to spend so much money on transport. Or for instance, before you get to your land, the place is so muddy. How do you go there when it rains? Because getting access to the farmland is difficult. Why? The place is full of what? The place is waterlogged areas, full of water, mud, everything, you see. So before you think of propagating, you must what? Think about how to select a suitable land. Okay, you don't just get up and then go to any land you see and say, I am propagating what? Maize. So your site selection is another important pre-planting activity. Okay, so if you watch your site selection, the selection of a suitable site for crop cultivation is influenced by the soil type, climatic condition, topography, the source of water, accessibility to farm, labor availability, and then market. So you put all these things into consideration before you can select your site. Look at the topography of the land. Is it too hilly? Is it slopey? Okay, look at the topography of the land. Look at whether the land is closer to what? Water source, because Bright made mention something called artificial irrigation. You need water because you wouldn't be experiencing rainy season every day. So you have to introduce water artificially to your farmland. Will you go to hole and go and fetch water and come and pour it on your land at pepper? No. So you must have a source of what? Water closer to your site where you have chosen to use to cultivate your what? Crop. Okay, look at the soil type. Look at the soil type. Is it loamy? Does my plant grow well or do well in loamy soil? If yes, then choose a soil or a land that have more of loamy soil than the rest. Would my product do well in clay soil? Yes. If yes, fine. If no, go in for another. Okay, so all these things are things you should put in place before you choose your site for whatever. The labor availability, that area that I want to use to cultivate my plantain or my maize, because you can't do everything alone. Okay, you need people to assist you, need labor. Do you have the people? Do you have the people that will assist you or that will work on the farm for you? How close are those people to your farmland? Because from time to time, you need to be going to the farm to take away any weed, to take away anything that you think is not wanted, to at least spray your crops. All these things, you need labor. So if your labor is, if the people you are going to work with are far away from your site, you realize that getting access to the farm becomes what? A problem. So labor availability. Do you have enough people to work for you? If yes, then go in for a larger scale. If no, then do something small that you think you can what? Work on. Do you understand? All these things are what? Planting activities. You must put all these things down. Examine them, do some calculations. Okay, if I want to do this, if I want to get maize, to buy maize, I need to get about 50 cedis so that I can get a viable maize seed. Okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. Do you understand? All these things are, and then land preparation. After you have selected your site, that it doesn't end there. You need to prepare the site. Prepare the land. Prepare the land. Okay, land preparation. Land preparation procedure depends on the type of land of the selected site. That's whether it is grassland or a forest land. Land preparation involves land clearing, soil tillage, seed bed preparation, and so on and so forth. So after you have selected your suitable land for production, you need to prepare the land. If the land is a forest land, you need to what? Clear all those forests or all those places. If the land is a grassland, okay, you have to clear everything so that the land will be ready for what? Planting. So that is what we mean by pre-planting activities. So you realize that after putting all these things into consideration, after doing all those things, then you are now ready to go to your farmland and what? Plant your seed. I hope I am clear. We'll end here. Okay, we'll end on land preparation. Next week, God willing, we'll continue with the rest of the notes. We are looking at crop production, how we'll be able to produce crops. Okay, now a quick information. After this class, I'm going to put the slides on the Google Classroom. I realize that most of you have joined. Yes, Ruth, hello.
Madam, please, is it good to clear a large piece of land by burning?
Now, sometimes burning destroys the vegetative cover of the plant. Okay, sorry, of the land. You know, when you clear your bush, when you burn the whole place, if you are not careful, the vegetative covering, you know, the soil is made up of layers. When you're looking at soil profiling, topsoil, before you come to gravels, you know, all those layers of soil profiling. So if you burn your bushes over there, on that piece of land that you are going to use to cultivate your crops, if you don't take care, or an effect will be that it can destroy the vegetative cover of the soil. Remember that humus is normally found at the topmost part of the soil. And if your humus content is destroyed, you know, humus consists of living things such as microorganisms, dead plants. All those things will decay and fix nitrogen back into the soil. So when you burn off the humus, one way or the other, your soil nutrients or components, the living organisms that form part of the humus can be destroyed, because probably the temperature can be extremely high for it to survive, or for them to survive. Ruth, are you okay?
Yes, madam.
Are you okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. So as I said, or as I was saying, I'm going to put the slides on the Google Classroom so that you can access them. And then whatever, any other information, please try and be checking on the platform as regular as possible, because I will be putting things there, okay, assignments and all those things. So you should be checking on the page as often as possible so that we can take it from it. Any other question? If there's no other question, I think we'll have to end the class. Precious, yes, your hand is up. Is it no? Is it whoever's hand is up? Unmute yourself and let's talk. Sedofia, Nathan.
Madam.
Yes.
Madam.
Yes.
Madam.
Nathan, I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you.
Madam. Yeah, please. Then if you put the assignment or class order, can you please how do you tell it? Starting date, so that we won't hesitate.
And I didn't hear you. Well, what did you say?
I mean, like, if you give us an assignment, I said, if you give us an assignment, can you put down the date that we have submitted?
Yes, I'll make all those informations available. Okay. So
Okay.
every other thing will be done off Zoom. We'll do every other thing using the Google Classroom. Okay, I'll give you the deadline for submission, and whatever I want you to do, I'll put it there for you. Okay. That note, the class has been brought to a successful end. We'll continue next week. So I'll see you when I see you.